In most U.S. political campaigns, there's usually a moment or event that defines the race and settles the ultimate outcome. In the Harris-Trump presidential campaign, I believe it's clear that history will look back and identify the 2024 moment or event as the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden in New York. Keep in mind, Donald Trump's chances of regaining the White House depend on his growing support among Latinos. And here was the opening speaker at the Trump rally.
It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right, okay, we're getting there.
His name is Tony Hinchcliffe, and as my friend Keith Olbermann so aptly noted, Hinchcliffe literally may have clinched the election for Kamala Harris. Keith Olbermann, on his must-subscribe podcast, delivered the crucial math.
450,000 residents of Pennsylvania self-identify as Puerto Rican. 127,114 of them in Philadelphia. 33,531 of them in Allentown. 100,000 residents of North Carolina identify as Puerto Rican. 65,000 in Wisconsin. 50,000 Michiganders, to say nothing of 1 million Floridians and 250,000 Texans. And of course, there's that other issue. 12% of likely voters nationwide are Hispanic.
And if even a small fraction of those voters disgusted by the Trump MAGA rally either vote for Kamala Harris or don't vote at all, that will make a huge impact on the election results. But it's not just Hispanics and Latinos who were insulted at the Trump New York rally. Independent and moderate voters heard a steady stream of racist, sexist, and misogynistic attacks.
Radio host Sid Rosenberg on Hillary Clinton.
What a sick son of a...
Many targeting Harris.
Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
Trump friend David Rem calling her the devil.
She is the Antichrist.
Tucker Carlson also attacking the vice president, who is Indian American and black.
The first Samoan Malaysian low IQ former California prosecutor ever to be elected president.
As the speakers rallied the crowd.
It needs to be a landslide. We need to slaughter this other people.
We need to slaughter these other people. Now, the speaker insists he was talking about election results and not actually killing people. But throughout the rally, the language and rhetoric was extreme. Most undecided voters at this point in an election generally shy away from politics the rest of the year because they don't like the rhetoric and the divisiveness. And political analysts say the key is to inspire those voters, not turn them off. But even Donald Trump's language was dark and threatening. And Trump again described fellow Americans, Democrats, as the enemy within.
We're running against something far bigger than Joe or Kamala, and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. In fact, they're perfect vessels because they'll never give them a hard time. They'll do whatever they want. I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people. But they're smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting.
On this, the day after the Trump campaign tried to clean up the insults to Latino and Puerto Rican voters, on Fox and Friends, Trump spokesperson Caroline Leavitt distanced the campaign from the jokes. Here's the exchange with Fox host Steve Doocy.
You know, this morning, the mainstream media has picked up on the comics comments, which were offensive, have been denounced by the campaign and everybody else. What went on with that?
Look, it was a comedian who made a joke in poor taste. Obviously, that joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or our campaign. And I think it is sad that the media will pick up on one joke that was made by a comedian rather than the truths that were shared by the phenomenal list of speakers.
The truths that were shared? Speaker Trump called Democrats the enemy from within. Tucker Carlson said Kamala Harris was a low-IQ Samoan Malaysian. Donald Trump friend David Rem called Harris the devil. Trump friend David Rosenberg called Hillary Clinton a sick son of a bitch. Which of those statements are you standing by, Caroline? And that's the problem. This rally didn't consist of just one or two jokes in poor taste. The entire rally was filled with divisive and hateful bile. It's the kind of crap that keeps many Americans tuned out of politics to begin with, because they see politics as disgusting, hateful, and irredeemable. And the Trump campaign, with its unhinged rally in New York, underscored a week before the election that all Donald Trump has is fear and division. And given the high-profile nature of this Trump rally, millions of American families may now feel obligated to have a tough conversation with their kids about bullying and what the Trump rally may inspire.
Parents who are proud Americans, who are raising their children to be proud Americans, who are from Puerto Rico. What do they say to their children after hearing that? It's really, I mean, my God, it just makes me sad as an American that Puerto Rican parents, that Americans who are from Puerto Rico are having to talk to their children this morning before they go to school so they won't be bullied because what was said at Donald Trump's rally last night.
If there is a silver lining to the Trump rally, it is this. The unvarnished truth and hard realities about MAGA world and Trump's top supporters are now clear. We don't have to guess about who these MAGA people are or what they value or about the kind of divided MAGA world society they want for America. And most Americans, by the way, seem to be repulsed. Going into this past weekend, the latest ABC News Ipsos poll found Kamala Harris up by 4. In the crosstabs, her support among Latinos had grown to 64% for Harris to 34% for Trump. That's a 30-point lead. 3 weeks ago, Harris led Trump among Latinos by just 12%. In other words, the Harris lead among Latinos and Hispanics had been growing even before the Trump rally in New York. And that's because the Harris campaign message about equal opportunity and fairness has been gaining traction. Now, Trump has given the Harris campaign outreach to Hispanics another boost. Trump and his supporters have revealed themselves. Their MAGA message is ugly, it is racist, and it will be rejected. By the way, new allegations are emerging about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
The second he was in front of me, he pulled me into him, and his hands were just on me and didn't come off.
That is Stacey Williams. As the headline reports, former Sports Illustrated swimsuit model says Trump groped her to show off for Jeffrey Epstein.
She says that Donald Trump, quote, groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Epstein. This was back in 1992 at a Christmas party, she says, after being introduced to him by Epstein in a Trump Tower.
The stories are renewing a focus on Trump's connections with Jeffrey Epstein. A few months ago, previously secret grand jury materials were released in Florida proving the Trump-Epstein connection, and Democrats pounced.
Like Donald Trump's sort of all over this, right? There are pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board. He is in call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting.
The hashtag is Trump pedophiles. Many of the posts screen grab documents from a lawsuit that accused Trump of raping a 13-year-old girl.
But yeah, y'all might want to look at that because that's highly disturbing. And again, it shows that Donald Trump is unfit for office. And by the way, he was convicted in a civilian court for sexual assault, convicted in a separate court of 34 felonies. Donald Trump should drop out of the race. Most congressional lawmakers and members of the mainstream media have been unwilling to bring up the Trump-Epstein documents. Trump has denied the rape allegations. Katie Johnson dropped the lawsuit just before the 2016 election, and the mere mention of the accusations are reportedly so enraging to Trump, the Trump associates say anybody who brings them up will face unprecedented revenge if Trump wins the presidency. But the fear of retribution has not stopped a growing number of internet sleuths from piecing together the Trump-Epstein connections.
They lived within walking distance of each other in Manhattan. They partied together. Trump flew on Epstein's planes. Epstein buys a house literally within walking distance, shorter than the distance I walked to school as a kid from Trump. How many kids, not even women, how many kids do you think, and I want you to put it in the comments, Trump and Epstein raped?
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most interesting was from Aurelia, who wrote, "So sick of the media normalizing this monster. Shame on them." I hear you. After the 2024 campaign is over, there will be a lot of dissections in the world of politics and media, and I believe we should take a very hard look at the media, which continues to fail us on so many levels. In any case, I look forward to reading your comments about the Trump campaign burying itself with that New York rally and giving the Harris campaign the gift of the truth about MAGA. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.